solar eclipse in Aries, 29th of March 2025 at 6:54 a.m. in Universal Time at 23 degrees 56 minutes of Aries. Allow me to explore for you some of the astrological threads of the new moon solar eclipse in Aries. Maybe we can even begin to weave some together by sharing and breathing life into them. I'm Sonia from Celestia Astrology. If you enjoy this, please don't forget to like, subscribe, or add some comments with your experience of this Aries solar eclipse. Have you ever felt a jolt of bold energy battling deep uncertainty? This is the kind of tension created by the Aries eclipse, where Mercury retrograde combines with wounded Healer Chiron to produce a cosmic push-pull many would find challenging. Ruler of the eclipse, Mars, the planet of action, is still pondering its shadow in Cancer as it retraces its retrograde steps and reflects on who, what and why it is called to action. The solution isn't ignoring either impulse, but understanding this final eclipse in the current series. Bernadette Brady classifies this Saros 149 cycle as bringing sudden physical events requiring action with an ever-watchful eye to safety. I'll share how to navigate this energy with a ritual for the go boldly nature of Aries. This eclipse at 9 degrees of Aries completes a significant astrological chapter, the conclusion of eclipses on the Aries-Libra axis, which began 2 years ago on the 20th of April 2023. This final Aries eclipse closes that chapter for us with a potent blend of fiery initiative that needs expression, while reminding us of our vulnerabilities and increasing our awareness of wounds around taking action. A partial solar eclipse is formed when the Sun and Moon meet close to the lunar nodes. The Moon passes between the Earth and Sun, blocking the Sun's light from being seen on Earth. You can find out exactly if this is visible and at what time for your location at timeanddate.com. The cardinal fire nature of Aries, understanding the eclipse foundation. Have you ever wondered why some eclipses feel more urgent and combustible than others? This one occurs at the very beginning of the zodiac wheel, where energy is at its most potent. Aries stands at the gateway to the zodiac, the first spark of creation. The Sun's ingress into Aries marks the spring equinox, symbolically a time when we welcome the return of the light, which has triumphed over the dark, long days of autumn and winter. As a cardinal fire sign, Aries demands action with an urgency unmatched by other signs. When an eclipse occurs here, the intensity of energy is high. The natural inclination towards beginnings, self-expression, and identity assertion becomes supercharged through the eclipse portal. Chris Brennan, in the Astrology podcast, talks about eclipses as times of accelerated change, with great beginnings and great endings. What makes this eclipse energy fundamentally different from those in other signs is its unfiltered directness. An Aries eclipse has the potential to cut through uncertainty with the precision of a blade. Mars, as the warrior planet, carries the sword of the cosmos. This sign doesn't know how to approach life sideways or with hesitation. It embodies full speed ahead, often acting first on impulse before thinking things through. This is Aries' superpower, the ability to set a thing in motion before understanding the full picture and all the details. It can also cause some obvious problems. I speak from experience of my Aries placements. Ruler Mars pushes forward with a singular focus. During eclipse season, this Martian influence amplifies, creating moments where confrontations can offer opportunities which become necessary for growth. The warrior planet may have a directness that feels uncomfortable, yet ultimately liberating, especially when breaking free from situations that we should have outgrown and left behind, but continue to cling to. This eclipse also carries significance because the Sun is in its exaltation in Aries. In astrological terms, the Sun's qualities, visibility, vitality, leadership, and creative expression reach their highest potential in this sign. In Leo, the Sun has the duties of a planet in domicile to attend to, but here it is an exalted guest, offered every consideration. When a solar eclipse occurs where the Sun is exalted, the transformative power magnifies, creating an alignment well suited for dramatic new chapters and bold declarations of purpose. Notably, this eclipse represents the culmination of a pattern, the final in a series of 6 consecutive new moons occurring at 9 degrees since the 1st of November 2024. This placement at 9 degrees in the first decan of Aries suggests completion before a new cycle begins. In traditional astrological medicine, Aries governs the head and face, the control and command center of the body. This connection may show another way that this eclipse invites us to reconsider our mental processes, decision-making strategies, and self-presentation. You might find yourself suddenly clear, about choices that previously felt confusing or impossible. The cardinal quality, as an initiatory sign, brings fresh energy during eclipse season. Unlike fixed signs that maintain and sustain what exists, or mutable signs that adapt and are changeable, cardinal signs like Aries initiate entirely new cycles without waiting for permission or perfect conditions. This pioneering spirit infuses the eclipse with an energy that invites us to not overthink, but begin now to act on whatever we are being shown. The contemplative, compassionate approach of Pisces gives way to decisive action. Understanding this foundational Aries energy, its assertive nature, Mars' direct influence, the Sun's exaltation, and Yang or masculine cardinal fire quality gives a solid foundation to explore further. We are shown how we may need to reinvent ourselves with unprecedented courage. We can look both forward with the moon families and backwards with the guidance of the Saros cycles, and explore the first decan of Aries for more nuance. Moon families, working with the eclipse. While this eclipse invites reinvention, there's also a hidden system that reveals how this moment will unfold in your life for those whose chart is activated by the eclipse over the next 2 years. Moon families show us that what begins as a spark in March continues as a story that threads across time and future moon connections. Dietrich Pessin's moon family concept offers us a profound way to work with lunar and eclipse energy. Rather than viewing eclipses as singular, isolated events, Pessin teaches us that they connect in meaningful patterns that repeat throughout our lives. This framework allows us to track our personal experiences and growth over time. Think of this eclipse as planting seeds in your garden of life, seeds that will sprout, grow, and eventually bloom over the next 2 years, revealing their full potential through each lunar phase. This particular eclipse creates a specific pattern worth following, especially if you have planets or angles around 9 degrees of Aries or in the other cardinal, that's Cancer, Libra or Capricorn, or fire signs, Leo and Sagittarius. The story begins with this new moon partial solar eclipse on March the 29th at 9 degrees of Aries, and continues to grow with some adjustments through the first quarter moon on December the 27th, 2025 at 6 degrees of Aries. The full moon on September the 26th, 2026 at 3 degrees of Aries offers illumination and culmination as a peak to the story. And finally, the last quarter moon on June the 27th, 2027 at 5 degrees of Aries brings further adjustments as we must decide what stays from this cycle and what we must now prepare to release. To work meaningfully with this pattern, consider creating a dedicated eclipse journal. For example, someone might record feeling a sudden urge to change careers during an Aries eclipse. They may face challenges with timing at the first quarter. They may celebrate achievements at the full moon and release outdated connections at the last quarter. Your journal can document your unfolding journey. Perhaps seemingly insignificant moments or meetings grow in importance. Maybe note what initiatives you begin during this eclipse, whether intentionally or not, what challenges arrive, what culminates and what releases at each phase. Looking out for these turning points will help you work with what they are showing and asking of you more constructively and recognize more of the story. Saros 21/149, the physical expression pattern. Eclipses are not isolated events. They belong to ancient families with distinctive personalities that repeat in predictable cycles. The March 2025 Aries eclipse is part of what astronomers and astrologers call a Saros cycle, specifically Saros series number 21 of the cycle 149. Saros cycles are even longer eclipse families following mathematical patterns, with each eclipse occurring approximately every 18 years. This repeating pattern was one of the first to be noted and shared by ancient astrologers who noticed the accelerated change that the eclipse seasons brought and their impact on leaders, often rulers in society. These Saros cycles maintain consistent themes throughout their lifespan, usually 1200 to 1500 years. Each family carries unique characteristics that manifest consistently across generations of eclipses. This particular Saros series has been researched by renowned astrologer Bernadette Brady in her book Predictive Astrology, The Eagle and the Lark. Bernadette Brady classifies it as SS09 New North, which started 21st of August 1964 and ends September 18th, 2908. She pairs it with the Virgo lunar eclipse on 14th of March 2025. It has historically been associated with physical action, exertion, and sudden events. According to Bernadette Brady, this series can manifest as breakthroughs, physical effort, or sudden accidents. The best approach, she advises, is to stay engaged with life, but cautiously and aware. You may want to reflect back on previous eclipses in the same series. If these were memorable dates for you, this series of eclipses may be impactful, with similar themes, but not the same as before. Both you and the surrounding astrology are different now. If they passed without event, you may not need to feel any astrology anxiety about the upcoming eclipse. Previous eclipses in this series occurred in 2007, 1989, 1971, and 1953. When you reflect on these years, were there themes of sudden change, physical effort, or endings that reshaped your path? The inception of this series had a Venus and Mercury conjunction, with Mars on the Uranus-Pluto midpoint, which was the astrological foundation for the delineation from Bernadette Brady. She classes it as a very physical, expressive Saros series. Accidents, great physical effort, violence, or any sudden physical events. These can be experienced positively, for example, the first time snow skiing, or it can be felt negatively in terms of accidents and so on. The approach to take when this Saros series is affecting a chart is not to hide away, but to undertake some physical activity with an ever-watchful eye to safety. This isn't merely theoretical. We can look back both in our own lives and in history. The previous eclipse in this series from 2007, major global events included the introduction of the iPhone, the start of the subprime mortgage crisis, the assassination of Benazir Bhutto, the signing of the Treaty of Lisbon, and the completion of the Burj Khalifa. There was conflict between Russia and Georgia, the source Wikipedia. In the UK, Tony Blair resigned as Prime Minister. Both the Aries sign and the Saros family share this quality of material impact and physical action, essentially doubling the emphasis on tangible manifestation. What amplifies the significance of the March 29 eclipse is its visibility path. The shadow will traverse Europe, the north of Asia, north-southwest Africa, much of North America, the north of South America, the Atlantic and the Arctic. You can find out the visibility for your area by visiting timeanddate.com. In traditional astrology, regions falling under an eclipse's visibility path can experience its effects more intensely. This doesn't necessarily mean negative outcomes. Physical expression can manifest as athletic achievements, creative breakthroughs, or bold new initiatives. However, it does suggest a period where energy transforms quickly from intention to physical reality. Interestingly, Brady doesn't recommend hiding away during eclipses from this Saros family. She says the approach to take when this Saros series is affecting a chart is not to hide away, but to undertake some physical activity with an ever-watchful eye to safety. For those with personal planets near 9 degrees of Aries, all the other cardinal signs, Cancer, Libra and Capricorn, this physical expression might feel particularly personal. The eclipse may trigger a need for physical release or manifest as sudden events requiring an immediate embodied response. Understanding the historical pattern of the Saros series allows for conscious preparation to move through this time, even if your chart is not activated for the decan of Aries, the double-bladed axe. Ancient astrologers divided each 30-degree sign into 3 10-degree segments called decans, each with its own specific character and symbolic imprint and spirits. The first decan of Aries, spanning from 0 to 10 degrees, sits at the very beginning of the astrological year, marking the first breath of light and fire after the watery dissolution of Pisces. Austin Coppock classified this first phase of Aries as the double-bladed axe, a powerful image that illuminates the nature of this decan. The axe makes decisive cuts, creates clear separations, and forges new paths through dense territory. Its double-bladed nature suggests that actions during this eclipse period will have consequences, extending beyond our initial intentions, cutting in multiple directions simultaneously. Kira Ryberg strengthens this interpretation by associating the first decan of Aries with battle, highlighting connections to struggle, conflict, and the fierce, undeniable drive for autonomy that defines this decan. Through the eclipse portal, we're invited to engage with our individual battles, fighting for independence, and reminded of the need to express our authentic existence. The Wild Way Oracle card from Nicola Allen illustrates the bold squirrel forging its path with the double-bladed axe, standing proudly on its tree stump for this energy. When one squirrel bounces into the picture, it's time to boldly go forth and conquer. Like a squirrel venturing from its tree to gather resources, we're called to leave comfort zones in pursuit of what we truly desire. We are given the keywords: claim your kingdom, jump first, think later, and self-mastery. What do these keywords bring up for you at this time? Maybe this captures the essence of Aries evolution, beginning with claiming territory and staking your place in the world, moving through characteristic impulsivity, and ultimately culminating in self-mastery. The spontaneous, even reckless energy of this decan ultimately serves the higher purpose of self-development and personal authority, as one who wields the axe must learn mastery to first avoid self-injury. What makes this placement especially significant for this eclipse is its double rulership by Mars, making it particularly martial and assertive, and amplifying Mars's focus. This is raw, primal Mars energy at its most direct and uncompromising, amplifying our drive for autonomy and independence. To work effectively with this eclipse, embrace your power to carve new paths with courage, implement plans you've been hesitating on, claim your kingdom, and assert your right to self-determination. Remember that, like the double-bladed axe, your decisive actions will now create both challenges and opportunities. This eclipse offers a rare opportunity to wield your metaphorical axe with intention, clearing space for authentic growth and bold new beginnings. Whatever Mars's retrograde journey through Cancer brought up for you may be highlighted or put into action now. In the tarot, this decan corresponds to the Two of Wands, depicting a figure richly dressed, holding a globe of the world while appearing to be contemplating their next move. This represents a crucial moment of stillness and planning before action, strategic vision preceding conquest, and both the potential to claim kingdoms combined with self-mastery. With the eclipse in this decan, we're positioned to hold our vision of the world in our hands and choose our direction with clarity and purpose. Allow visions of possibilities to guide you forward. T. Susan Chang. Excerpt from Dreaming the Decans, Aries 1, Two of Wands. Conflagrations, old and new. Ambition is a point of view. Past and future circumstance give my will a second chance. Every seed contains a world. Adventures yet to be unfurled. Strike the match. Prevail in battle. The will conquer burns in me. Do not neglect to form Plan B. T. Susan Chang's verse for this decan reveals a further progression. Ambition is just a point of view, and a second chance to honour our will. We are encouraged to create that future vision and then take action, but never forget to plan. This can be difficult in this part of the zodiac. Planetary aspects. Beyond the bold Aries energy of this eclipse and the historical threads and patterns, we must never forget that each eclipse is a rare, unique moment in time, with its own astrology, as shown by the aspects it forms. They might explain why you've been feeling both empowered, drained, or hesitant lately. Eclipse ruler Mars in Cancer squares Chiron and the eclipse. As Mars learns lessons of who, what, and why he fights and what needs protecting in Cancer, the wounded healer asteroid Chiron joins the impact of the eclipse and demands action, healing our past wounds around speaking our truth, following our path, and living an authentic life. If you've ever hesitated to speak up in a meeting or class because of past criticism, or overreacted to a minor slight because of old wounds, this aspect can bring these patterns to light. With Chiron positioned superiorly to Mars, still moving through its retrograde shadow, there's potential to heal these wounds around assertion, recognizing that setting boundaries doesn't have to end in conflict, and expressing anger doesn't have to lead to regret. This eclipse may be showing you what past wounds you are now ready to release and heal, and can new actions help you now move on from the past? Mercury retrograde at 0 degrees of Aries stands at the threshold between signs, about to step back into Pisces. This creates a meaningful tension. The eclipse urges decisive action, while Mercury suggests careful reconsideration, delays or setbacks in that action, almost like having one friend encouraging you to take a leap, while another reminds you to look before you jump. The new moons and Mercury's co-presence with Chiron, the wounded healer, brings sensitivity to our communications and actions during this period. Imagine revisiting a journal where you once wrote about times where expressing yourself led to pain, or instances where your words inadvertently hurt others. This time offers healing for those patterns of self-expression, allowing you to communicate more authentically. The Mercury contra Antisha aspect to Neptune adds a hidden, shadowy layer of complexity that may affect your perception. You might want to sit down and plan your week, and suddenly find yourself questioning your entire career path. Neptune's foggy, dissolving influence can blur boundaries between practical thinking and spiritual insight. This aspect can manifest as uncertainty when making decisions, but also as moments of unexpected clarity when you least expect them. It is likely to be hard to identify, but worth being aware of its potential, especially if you have important decisions to make right now. There is always something unseen about communications, thoughts, and ideas around this time. Jupiter in Gemini forms a whole sign sextile to the eclipse, creating potential opportunities through communication. Picture yourself in a moment of doubt about a new project, when a conversation with a friend offers exactly the perspective you need it. Jupiter offers expansion through the exchange of ideas. Perhaps that book club discussion or podcast you've been following will suddenly connect to your personal journey in meaningful ways. With ruler Mercury retrograde, still expect delays or setbacks until the messenger planet returns to Aries and moves past its shadow. This makes a whole sign sextile, infusing this eclipse with empowering potential. This isn't about surface changes, but deep reformation, like deciding to take a daily walk that eventually changes your entire relationship with your body and health. Whatever seeds you plant during this eclipse can grow into substantial changes that align you more authentically with your true self. In daily life, these aspects might manifest as feeling strongly drawn to start a new project while simultaneously wondering if you're prepared. You might revisit old emails or journals rather than drafting new plans, or find yourself practicing different ways to express your needs to loved ones. The key is embracing this tension, moving forward with intention, while honouring the need for reflection and reconsideration, allowing both boldness and caution to guide you through this eclipse season. Rituals. Given the bold, assertive nature of this Aries eclipse, certain ritual practices can help you harness its energy effectively. Physical activities are particularly appropriate for working with the Aries energy. Consider engaging in sports or outdoor adventures that align with the cardinal fire energy of the sign. A ritual hike at sunrise, a martial arts practice, or even a competitive game can serve as powerful ways to embody the courage and initiative of this eclipse. If you feel called to move your body more, dancing or walking, any shift will help you to align with Mars. Remember Bernadette Brady's warning, and be mindful of accidents and pay attention to your safety and the risk of overdoing it. For those who prefer more contemplative practices, meditation techniques focused on the head or crown can be especially beneficial during this time. Since Aries rules the head, visualizations centered on clarity and decisiveness can help you harness the assertive energy available now. Try a meditation where you envisage a flame at your crown chakra, burning away hesitation and illuminating your path forward. Creating a sacred space that honors Aries energy can further help support your eclipse work. Incorporate red colors symbolizing passion, herbs like rosemary and ginger, and stones such as carnelian, garnite or pyrite to enhance independence and self-mastery. Candle or fire element serves as a perfect centerpiece for an Aries eclipse altar. Journal prompts can also be powerful tools. What bold steps am I ready to take? And how can I assert my individuality while remaining true to my values? These questions encourage reflection on personal growth and the courage to pursue your desires. As you engage with these practices, remember that the energy seeded now reveals itself over time. Your journal entries, rituals, and intentions establish patterns that will unfold over the next 2 years, offering invaluable insight into your personal growth pattern. Final thoughts. Like a butterfly emerging from its cocoon, this moment calls for courage. Nelson Mandela once wisely said, "I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear." Although we do not have a reliable birth time for him, it is believed that Mandela had a Mars-ruled Scorpio moon. It squares his Saturn in Leo. So even before knowing his life story, we can see how he embodied the challenges of fire, but combined it with the alchemy of water and lunar compassion. This cosmic eclipse portal invites transformation on your terms. Whatever seeds you are being shown to plant now will grow, inviting in the signature of independence and self-determination. I'd love to know how you're experiencing this eclipse. Please do share your journey in the comments below. And maybe a moon or sun emoji to show what's being eclipsed for you. If you want to learn more about eclipses, the Asteroid Sphere Kairos Eclipse Portals 2025 Fate, Flow and Transformation workshop and workbook is now available for sale in our Ko-fi shop, together or separately, and there'll be a link in the description box. There is a discount code available to paying subscribers on Substack, and you can find it in the paid subscribers chat thread, which all paid subscribers have access to. So you can sign up now to get the code to that Substack, either through myself, through the Healer Chiron Substack, or any of the other Ask Astrologers, to get discounts on this and also other future offerings. And the Eclipse Portals 2025 Fate, Flow and Transformation was a 3-hour live workshop with a workbook and breakout session. The recording is 2 hours because we didn't record the breakout sessions or the breaks, you'll be pleased to know. So we explored the March eclipses, past cycles, personal impact and rituals for alignment. So you will get the recorded access, a link to the YouTube recording to keep, and you can also buy the workbook, a 33-page detailed workbook. And all 5 were Ask Astrologers collaborated on this. Travel well, friends.